Good morning. I'm so glad you're here today. I believe this is not just another day. This is a divine moment. You didn't tune in by accident. I believe something powerful is about to shift in your life. And it all starts with one truth. You were made for more. You were built to rise, built to overcome, and built to walk through fire and come out stronger. But here's what I've learned. The path to greatness, the road to destiny, the journey to becoming all you were created to be, always goes through hard things. See, anybody can do what's easy. Anybody can stay in comfort. Anybody can avoid the challenge. But if you want to reach your call, if you want to see the favor, the breakthrough, fullness of what's in you, you have to do what is hard. Don't run from it. Don't fear it. That hard thing, that tough decision, that lonely season, that discipline, that change you keep putting off, that's not there to stop you. It's there to build you. When you do what's hard, you unlock strength you didn't know you had. You tap into grace you didn't know was available. You invite God to do the impossible in your life. Hard may look like forgiving someone who hurt you deeply. Maybe waking up early to chase the vision inside you. Hard may be turning down what's popular for what's right. Hard might be saying a no to what feels good, and a yes to what brings growth. But hear me, God doesn't anoint the easy path. He anoints obedience, and obedience will almost always walk through the valley before reaching the mountain. That challenge you're facing, it's not your ending, it's your training ground. It's not punishment, it's preparation. Every tear, every struggle, every silent night, God is using it to shape you, stretch you, and set you up for something greater. When others quit, you press in. When others complain, you worship. When others give up, you rise up. Why? Because you're not doing this in your own strength. You've got heaven backing you up. Doing what is hard is never easy, but it is always worth it. Don't shrink back. Don't settle. Don't make excuses. Make a decision today. I will do what is hard, because hard is how I grow. Hard is how I win. Hard is how God makes me unstoppable. And when you keep walking, when you stay faithful, when you refuse to quit, you will look back and say, it was hard, but it was stretched me. But it strengthened. It hurt. Just going through hard. You're growing through hard. Keep pushing, keep believing, and keep doing what others avoid. Because when you do what is hard, God will do what is miraculous. Nobody ever grows on the mountaintop. Growth happens in the valley. It happens in the dark places, the uncertain places, the uncomfortable places, those seasons and situations that stretch you beyond what you thought you could handle. It's not when everything is going right that your roots go deep. It's when life challenges you, when you're forced to rely on something greater than yourself, that you find out who you really are. See, most people want growth without resistance. They want strength without struggle. But that's not how life works, and that's not how destiny unfolds. You cannot become who you were designed to be by doing only what's easy. You grow when you do what's hard. Think about it like a seed in the ground. It doesn't grow just by sitting in the sunlight. First, it gets buried in the dirt. It's dark, it's lonely, it's silent. But something's happening under that soil. Pressure is being applied. The shell starts to break. Roots begin to form. That seed, once hidden, now has to fight its way up toward the light. It's the struggle of the soil that makes the seed strong, and the same is true for you. The hard things in your life, they're not meant to bury you. They're meant to plant you. You're not stuck. You're being strengthened. That hardship, that delay, that rejection, it's all part of the process. Because growth doesn't come from the easy seasons. It comes when life pushes you and you decide not to break, but to become. We grow in discipline. We grow in responsibility. We grow when we keep showing up, even when we don't feel like it. Huh? That early morning when your body says no, but your spirit says go, that's where growth happens. That temptation you resist, the one that tries to pull you back into who you used to be. That resistance is building spiritual muscle. That hard conversation you're scared to have, but you choose truth over comfort. That moment of courage becomes a step forward in your maturity. You can't pray away the hard and still expect to be strong. You can't avoid pressure and still be prepared for purpose. Growth doesn't ask for comfort. Growth demands commitment. The reality is, most people want the reward without the process. They want the results without the resistance. They want the glory without the grind. But the people who grow, the people who rise, are the ones who embrace hard. They lean into it. They face it head on. They understand that comfort is a cage, and growth is a choice. Even nature teaches us this. Muscles only grow when they're pushed past their limits. Trees that survive strong winds develop deeper roots. Diamonds are formed under pressure. Gold is refined by fire. If all you ever do is take the easy path, you'll miss the strength that comes from facing adversity. And when the storms of life hit, you'll find yourself shaken. Not because life is unfair, but because your roots were never tested. Some of the most powerful transformations in your life will be born out of hardship. That heartbreak that made you depend on God in a new way. That setback that birthed a new level of creativity and determination in you. That struggle that made you more compassionate, more grateful. Don't curse the hard seasons. Don't wish them away too quickly. It's the very place that feels like it's trying to break you is often the place where God is. If you're in a hard place right now, don't assume you're doing something wrong. You might be right in the middle of your greatest growth. You might be learning patience. You might be developing spiritual endurance. You might be shedding things that can't go with you into your next level. Yes, it's uncomfortable. Yes, it's painful, but it's not pointless. God uses the hard to shape you. He uses the hard to humble you. He uses the hard to prepare you. And when you come out of it, because you will come out, you'll be wiser, stronger, more resilient, and more aligned with your purpose than ever before. Think of it this way. An easy life never produced a great leader. An easy path never built a strong character. Every person who's ever made a difference had to walk through something difficult to get there. They had to endure criticism. They had to fight fear. They had to sacrifice comfort. And so will you. But here's the good news. You're not walking through the hard alone. There is grace for the grind. There is strength for the struggle. You're not being crushed. You're being crafted. You're not being punished. You're being positioned. Growth is happening even when you can't feel it. The pain is not permanent. The process is not forever. But what it produces in you, that strength, that wisdom, that unshakable faith, that will last a lifetime. So don't run from the hard. Don't complain about the hard. Embrace it. Own it. Push through it. Because every time you do what is hard, you're making an investment in your future. You're growing. You're becoming. You're stepping into a version of yourself that is stronger, bolder, and more prepared to walk in everything you were created to do. Hard is where growth happens. And you, my friend, were made to grow. We all love comfort. Human nature to gravitate toward what feels good, what's predictable, what's familiar. We want the path of least resistance, the smooth road, the shortcut. And while there's nothing wrong with resting and enjoying moments of peace, there's a danger when comfort becomes the goal, when ease becomes the priority, when everything we do is filtered through the question, how can I avoid difficulty? Ease may feel good for a moment, but over time, it dulls your edge. It lulls you into a pattern of settling. It whispers, This is good enough, when deep down you know there's more. Ease convinces you that average is acceptable, that potential can stay hidden, that calling can wait. But the truth is, ease never produces excellence. Excellence demands effort. Excellence costs something. Excellence requires you to stretch, to sacrifice, to do the inconvenient and the uncomfortable, not just once, but consistently. Excellence is forged in fire. It is shaped in the grind. It is carved through late nights, early mornings, relentless focus, and a commitment to mastery when nobody's watching. It's easy to be talented and still never rise. It's easy to have dreams and never chase them. Why? Because ease tells you there's always tomorrow. Ease says you can try later. Ease tells you to wait until it feels right. And while you wait, while you coast, life passes you by. Most people don't miss their calling because they were incapable. They miss it because they were unwilling to move beyond comfort. Ease says stay in bed. Excellence says get up and go again. Ease says blend in. Excellence says stand out. Excellence says give it your best, even when no one is clapping for you. It's not a matter of talent. It's a matter of decision. Are you willing to do what others won't so you can live at a level others never reach? There's something dangerous about staying in the shallow end. It feels safe. It feels manageable. But it also keeps you from the depths of your potential. You were never called to float. You were called to grow, to lead, to rise. And that means letting go of ease. That means confronting the part of you that would rather be comfortable than courageous. That means silencing the inner voice that keeps making excuses. I'm too tired. It's too late. What if I fail? And choosing instead to do what needs to be done because your purpose demands it. When you choose ease over excellence, you're not just delaying your growth. You're trading your future for temporary relief. And over time, that relief turns into regret. One day you'll look back and realize that the thing standing between you and the life you were meant to live wasn't opposition. It was your own comfort zone. That's why ease is so deceptive. It hides behind logical reason, disguises itself as self-care. Self-care? It sounds like wisdom when it says, don't push too hard. Don't take the risk. Don't go all in. But underneath all that, ease is robbing you. It's stealing your drive. It's distracting you from your purpose. It's convincing you to settle for what is instead of reaching for what could be. Excellence, on the other hand, is honest. It doesn't sugarcoat the process. It tells you up front, this won't be easy. You're going to have to show up when you're tired. You're going to have to sacrifice some sleep, let go of distractions, say no to things that don't align with your goals. But if you stay with it, if you refuse to give up, you'll become someone you never imagined. You'll unlock levels in yourself that you didn't know were there. Excellence doesn't happen by accident. Nobody stumbles into greatness. Behind every champion, every visionary, every world changer is a story of struggle, of sacrifice, of doing what was necessary even when it wasn't easy. And if you study their lives, you'll find a common thread. They made peace with hard work. They embraced discipline. They didn't chase convenience. They chased purpose. They were willing to be uncomfortable for the sake of excellence. So the real question is not whether you have what it takes. You do. The question is whether you're willing to go through what it takes, because it will take consistency. It will take faith when progress is invisible. It will take sweat, tears, focus, and sometimes being misunderstood. It will take saying no to ease again and again until excellence becomes your new normal. It's not about perfection. It's about intention. It's about choosing to do your best when it would be easier to coast. It's about staying committed when your feelings say quit. It's about reminding yourself that what you're building is bigger than the momentary comfort you're giving up. You're laying the foundation for something lasting, something that will bless you, something that will speak of your character, your integrity, your diligence. And here's the truth. The more you practice excellence, the more natural it becomes. Over time, you begin to crave it. You start to notice when your standards drop. You feel it in your spirit when you start to lean toward the easy way out. And because you've trained yourself to aim higher, you can quickly adjust. Excellence becomes your default. But it all starts with a decision. A decision to choose growth over ease, purpose over comfort, process over shortcuts. A decision to live with discipline when others live by preference, to keep pushing when others quit, to pursue mastery when others settle for mediocre. You weren't created to coast through life. You were made to shine, to influence, to lead. And that kind of life doesn't come easy, but it is possible. It is worth it. And it starts when you recognize that ease may be tempting, but it will never take you to excellence. We all want to step into our destiny. We pray for it, we hope for it, we dream about it. But very few people realize how it actually unfolds. It doesn't come wrapped in comfort. It doesn't arrive in ease. More often than not, it comes disguised in difficulty. The struggles you face, the challenges you endure, the pain you never asked for. These are the very tools being used to shape your future. When you're going through something hard, it's easy to think that you're being delayed or even punished. It feels unfair. It feels like maybe you took a wrong turn. But what if that difficulty isn't working against you? What if it's working for you? What if it's not meant to stop you, but to prepare you? Destiny isn't just about where you end up. It's about who you become along the way. And nothing develops you faster than difficulty. Because the truth is, you can't carry a great calling with small character. You can't walk in high places with a fragile foundation. You can't handle big blessings without first going through deep lessons. God is not trying to destroy you through difficulty. He's trying to develop you. He's refining your focus, your patience, your humility. He's building in you what comfort never could: endurance, faith, resilience, wisdom. It's in the hard times that you learn how to trust, how to fight, how to pray, how to let go of control and lean on something greater. Some of the most significant moments in your life will be birthed through struggle. You'll look back and realize that the very thing that brought you to your knees was the same thing that closed door. It wasn't rejection. It was redirection. It was redirection. That betrayal, it didn't break you. Discernment, that season of silence, it didn't waste your time. It deepened your roots. When you ask God to use your life, don't be surprised when He allows difficulty to enter it. That doesn't mean He's forgotten you. It means He's forming you. He's stretching you for what's ahead. He's teaching you how to carry what you're praying for. God is a master at using what looks like trouble to position you for transformation. That situation you're fighting right now, it could be the very thing that moves you into a greater dimension, but you have to walk through it. You have to trust that even in the struggle, there is purpose. When you read the stories of people who fulfill great callings, you'll find a common theme. Every single one of them faced difficulty. Not just minor inconvenience, but real hardship. Delays, deserts, false accusations, betrayal, isolation. Didn't disqualify them. They developed them. Think of someone who was promised greatness, but first had to live in a place of waiting. Think of someone who had a vision but was thrown into the pit. Someone who was called to lead but was sent into hiding. Someone who had a dream but ended up in chains. Over and over, the pattern remains. Difficulty before destiny. Quiet, just wait. And if God gave it to you before you were ready, it would crush you. He doesn't develop destiny in the spotlight. He develops it in the shadow. When no one is watching, when no one is clapping, when all you have is faith and obedience. In those quiet places of pain, something powerful is forming in you. There's a depth that comes from pain that success can never give. There's a clarity that rises out of storms that sunshine can't provide. There's a level of surrender that's only born in brokenness. So when you're walking through a hard season, don't assume it's the end. Don't write yourself off. You may be right in the middle of the molding. God will use what hurts you to heal you. He'll use what you thought would destroy you to define you. He'll take the very weight that tried to crush you and turn it into the strength that carries you. That's how destiny is developed. Through pressure, through fire, through stretching. You can't give up in the process. You can't tap out in the tension. You have to stay faithful even when you feel forgotten. You have to keep showing up even when the door hasn't opened yet. Because God is not just interested in taking you somewhere, He's interested in making you someone. The strength you gain in the struggle becomes the wisdom you walk with in the promise. The tears you cry in private become the testimony you share in public. The faith you build when nothing makes sense becomes the force that carries you when everything is on the line. So no, difficulty is not the enemy of destiny. It's the pathway to it. And when you change your perspective, when you start seeing trials not as obstacles but as opportunities for growth, your whole journey begins to shift. You no longer ask, oh, why is this happening to me? But what is this forming in me? The people who fulfill their destiny aren't the ones who never face difficulty. They're the ones who refuse to quit when it gets hard. They hold on. They press through. They trust that even in the chaos, God is in control. And when the season shifts, because it will, you'll find yourself stronger, wiser, more focused, and more prepared for what's ahead. You'll realize that the pain had a purpose, that the waiting wasn't wasted, and that the difficulty was never about destroying you. It was about developing you for destiny. So don't despise the hard places. Don't run from the fire. Don't curse the season of stretching. Something divine is being formed in you. And when it's your time, when the door opens, when the opportunity comes, when the calling calls, you'll be ready. Not just because of your talent, but because of your training. Trained of every difficult moment that shaped you along the way. Courage is not something you feel when everything is perfect. It's not a surge of strength that comes when the situation is easy, the path is clear, and all the odds are in your favor. Real courage shows up when comfort is nowhere to be found. It rises when fear is loud, when uncertainty surrounds you, and when you have every reason to back down. But you choose to move forward anyway. Far too many people wait for the perfect conditions to act. They wait for the fear to leave, for the anxiety to quiet down, for the risk to disappear. They think courage means feeling completely ready. But the truth is, courage almost never feels like confidence. Courage feels like trembling hands. It feels like a pounding heart. It feels like stepping out into the unknown with your knees shaking and your voice cracking, but doing it anyway. If you're waiting for comfort, you'll be waiting your whole life. Comfort is not a prerequisite for greatness. In fact, the pursuit of comfort often becomes the barrier that holds people back from everything they were created to do. Comfort whispers, stay here, it's safe. Courage replies, go there, it's destiny. Think about it. Nothing significant ever came from playing it safe. No great vision was birthed in a comfort zone. No powerful story started with someone choosing to stay where it was easy. Every breakthrough, every transformation, every legacy was born out of a decision to act in the face of discomfort. Courage is what causes you to start the business when others tell you it's too risky. It's what makes you walk away from something familiar to chase something greater. It's what empowers you to speak truth, to stand alone, to rise after failure, to keep going when you're misunderstood. None of those moments feel comfortable. There's this myth that brave people feel less fear. But brave people feel fear and still choose action. They've just learned that fear is not the master. It's a signal. It tells you that you're stepping into something meaningful. If there were nothing at stake, there would be no fear. The presence of fear often confirms that you're close to something important. Comfort seeks to keep you the same. It tells you to avoid risk, avoid rejection, avoid pain. Courage dares you to evolve. It pushes you to take the step before the bridge appears. It invites you to leap before you see the net. Because some doors don't open until you walk toward them. Some miracles don't happen until you move. You can't grow and stay comfortable at the same time. You have to choose one. If you wait until everything feels right, until the timing is perfect, until the fear is gone, you'll never move. The dream will stay in your heart, but it will never become reality. Because dreams require action, and action requires courage, not comfort. Courage makes decisions that comfort cannot understand. It says, I'm not staying in this relationship just because I'm afraid of being alone. It says, I'm not going to keep this job if it means abandoning my purpose. It says, I will speak up for what's right, even if it costs me approval. These aren't comfortable choices, but they are courageous ones. And they are the kinds of choices that shape your future. When you look back on your life, you won't remember the days you stayed comfortable. You'll remember the moments you stepped out, the moments you said yes when it scared you. The moments you kept going when quitting felt easier. The moments you chose faith over fear. Those are the moments that define your story. We often admire courage in others. We love the stories of underdogs, of bold leaders, of people who risked everything for what they believed in, but we forget that they didn't feel fearless when they acted. They just made a decision, or this matters more than. They decided to be uncomfortable for a while in order to be unshakable for a lifetime. And here's the beautiful truth. Courage grows. The more you choose it, the stronger it becomes. Every time you do something afraid, every time you take that step, every time you face discomfort and move forward anyway, you are building a boldness inside you that will carry you through future challenges. On the other side of that uncomfortable step is growth you've never experienced. On the other side of the fear is confidence you didn't know you had. But you have to move through it to get there. There is no shortcut, no secret, no back door. The only way out is through. And the only way through is courage. Courage won't always make you feel good in the moment, but it will lead you to what is good in the long run. It may cost you something short-term, comfort, popularity, security, but it will give you back something much more valuable. Strength, freedom, authenticity, and alignment with your purpose. So today, stop waiting for comfort to show up. Stop waiting for the moment you don't feel afraid. Instead, take the step anyway. Say yes anyway. Start anyway. Speak anyway. Move anyway. Courage doesn't need permission. It just needs a willing heart. You were not made to play small. You were not created to live hidden. You were not designed to shrink in fear. You were made to rise in courage. And every time you choose courage over comfort, you get one step closer to the person you were born to be. Resistance is not a sign that you're failing. It's often the clearest indication that you're close to something meaningful. Whenever you start making progress, whenever you begin to pursue something greater, whenever you dare to grow, there will be resistance. It shows up in the form of obstacles, delays, criticism, fatigue, doubt, and spiritual pressure. But resistance doesn't come to defeat you. It comes to test you. It reveals whether you're really ready for what you're asking for. You don't know how strong your muscles are until you push against something. You don't discover your endurance until something tries to wear you down. The resistance isn't a punishment, it's preparation. It's a necessary part of your development. And if you see it with the right perspective, you'll begin to understand that resistance isn't something to run from. It's something to rise into. It's confirmation that growth is in progress. Every new level you step into will come with new pressure. It's easy to ask for increase, for expansion, for favor. But can you handle the weight of what you're requesting? Can you manage the responsibility? Can you maintain your character under pressure? The resistance helps answer those questions. It shows you what still needs refining. It reveals areas that need more maturity. It exposes weaknesses that could sabotage you if they remain hidden. Resistance doesn't just reveal your current strength. It also helps produce greater strength. Just like lifting heavier weights builds muscle, pushing through challenges builds resilience. The more resistance you face and overcome, the more capacity you develop. You may not see it in the moment, but every obstacle is making you more capable. Every delay is developing patience. Every challenge is deepening your roots. Resistance is building something in you that comfort never could. Too often, when we face resistance, we assume we must have made a wrong turn. We think, if this were right, it wouldn't be this hard. But that's a lie. Some of the most important things you'll ever do will come with the greatest resistance. That's because you're moving into territory that matters. You're stepping into something that has the power to change your life, your family, your legacy. And that kind of movement will always be met with opposition. Think about any great story, whether from scripture, history, or your own life. The people who rose the highest also faced the most intense resistance. They had to fight through doubt, fear, rejection, and hardship. But that resistance didn't stop them. It revealed their readiness. It exposed their grit. It forced them to depend on something bigger than themselves, and it proved to them and to the world that they were ready to carry the calling they had been given. The presence of resistance doesn't mean the door is closed. Sometimes it means the door is sacred. It means you're standing at the threshold of something holy, something heavy, something deeply purposeful. And you're being asked not to turn away, but to push through, to show up with faith, to lean in with focus, to keep going when everything in you wants to retreat. The pressure will mount, the setbacks will seem unfair. The setbacks will seem unfair. You'll wonder if the fight is worth it. That's where so many people give up, right at the point of breakthrough. But the resistance is not there to destroy you. It's there to ask you one question. Are you ready? Are you ready to stop playing small? Are you ready to live at the level your calling demands? Are you ready to carry influence with integrity, success with humility, and power with purpose? You see, you don't truly know you're ready until you've faced something that could have taken you out. And you stood your ground. You don't know your fire until you've been through the flame. You don't know your roots until the storm comes. And you don't know your faith until it's tested. Resistance brings truth to the surface. It exposes what's real. And if you let it, it will make you stronger than you ever imagined. Not just externally, not just in results, but internally, where it really matters. It will build your character. It will deepen your convictions. It will sharpen your vision. It will strip away what's fake and strengthen what's true. Most importantly, resistance teaches you to rely on a power beyond yourself. When your strength runs out and the challenge still stands, that's when you learn how to lean on grace. That's when you realize you were never meant to carry the weight alone. And that's when the impossible starts to become possible. Not because it got easier, but because you got anchored. So if you're feeling resistance right now, don't be discouraged. You're not off track. You're not falling behind. You're in training. You're in refining. You're in a season of stretching. And every ounce of pressure is working for you. Every difficulty is serving a purpose. You may not understand it now, but one day you'll look back and realize that resistance was the very thing that readied you for the door that opened. You don't need to avoid the fight. You were built for it. You were born to overcome. You have more in you than you know, and the resistance you're facing is not there to break you. It's there to reveal that you are already prepared, already anointed, already prepared for what comes next. Let resistance reveal your readiness. Let it push you, challenge you, sharpen you. Because when the breakthrough comes, and it will, you won't just arrive empty. You'll arrive empowered. You'll walk through the door not as someone lucky, but as someone ready. And that kind of readiness can only be forged through resistance. We've talked about doing what is hard, not just as a choice, but as a calling. Because the truth is, the easy road never leads to the extraordinary. If you want to rise, if you want to grow, if you want to fulfill the potential that was planted deep inside you, you must be willing to do what others avoid, to press into what others run from. Hard is where growth happens. It's where your character is forged, your strength is refined, and your purpose becomes clear. When life feels heavy, when the road seems uphill, don't shrink back, lean in. Those hard places are not punishments. They are the birthplace of strength. Airs will tempt you, but ease is the enemy of excellence. It will tell you to settle, to coast, to play it safe. But you weren't created for average. You were made for impact. And impact is never found in comfort, it's found in commitment. When it gets hard, remember, that's exactly when God begins to develop destiny. He doesn't waste your pain. He doesn't ignore your struggle. He uses it. He shapes you with it. And every difficult moment is a stepping stone, moving you closer to who you're meant to be. Courage will not wait for the fear to disappear. It shows up trembling, sweating, uncertain, but it shows up. Courage says, I will move, even when I don't feel ready. Because readiness isn't about everything being perfect. It's about being willing. Resistance. Don't despise it. Let it reveal you. Let it show you what you're made of. The pressure is producing power. The opposition is creating opportunity. It's not working against you. It's working something deeper in the blessing, the breakthrough, the fullness of everything you've prayed for, hoped for, worked for. It's on the other side of wishing, not the side of waiting, on the side of hard. So press through it, push forward, trust the process. Trust the process. You may be tired, you may be stretched, you may be walking a lonely road, but keep going, keep believing, keep doing what is hard. Because what is hard today will become what is holy tomorrow. The very things that test you will become the tools that carry you. This is not the time to retreat. This is not the moment to give up. This is the season to rise up, to go deeper, deeper, to stand taller. Do what is hard and watch God do what is impossible. Your future is waiting. Your breakthrough is ahead. Your story is unfolding, and everything you've walked through, every tear, every test, every mountain is preparing. So now is the time. Step forward, face the hard, and finish strong.